Apple just canceled the iPhone 15. At least the iPhone 15 we thought we were gonna get now isn't happening. Longtime Apple fans are not super happy about the decisions Apple is currently making, and the iPhone 15 might just sort of be a downgrade from the phone you've got right now. So let me break down the latest rumors, tell you what Apple is working on right now, the good news, the bad news, tell you about some new products, some big changes coming to the iPhone 15, and what Apple just removed on the iPhone 15 that some of you are absolutely going to hate, and also why the iPhone 15 might sort of be, compared to this, a bit of a downgrade. This probably should go without saying, but let me just start this video by saying that rumors should always be taken with a major grain of salt. We think we're gonna get this, and we get this, or we're gonna get something like this, and then we get this. You can't always trust what the rumors tell us, though I will say like 90% of the time, they're leading us in the right direction. Things may change, things aren't always perfect, but a lot of the times, thanks to the crazy Apple rumor community, we get a lot of info about what Apple is working on months, if not years, before the devices actually reach our hands. And we actually just got a bunch of new leaks that give us a lot of new info on what Apple is working on. Some big changes to the iPhone 15, some concept products that are now sort of in development, some other new updates to the Mac and the headset and all that stuff. So let me tell you what you need to know and give you the good news and also, well, plenty of bad news too. Let's start with the good news though, start with something positive and tell you about how Apple is finally ditching Lightning on every single device. Now, of course, the 2023 iPhone lineup, every model is going to be getting a USB-C port, but Apple isn't stopping there. They're going down the line, finding their other existing Lightning products and finally phasing them out. For example, we just got a new report that says that Apple is going to give us a brand new version of AirPods Pro that won't have any big differences, besides the fact that Lightning is going to be removed from the case and we'll get a USB-C port in its place. This is also expected to be the case for AirPods Max as well. That could be coming as soon as WWDC. These should have the new H2 chip, some new colors, maybe some other design tweaks, and of course, Lightning will be gone and USB-C port is in. So it looks like Apple is slowly but surely going to be removing Lightning from every product and accessory and giving us now one port to rule them all. Who thought that that could have been a good idea years ago? Finally giving us USB-C. And while we're talking about AirPods, I thought I'd also share an interesting patent that Apple was recently granted on a version of AirPods, sort of an exterior case with a built-in screen that could add a whole lot of functionality. Now, of course, just because Apple patents something doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen, but we have seen a lot of Apple's coolest features sort of come in patent form first and then come to our products later on down the line, and this might give us an early glimpse of what an all-new, maybe AirPods Pro 3 could actually look like. And besides just looking cool, a screen on your AirPods case could be cool for a couple of, well, useful reasons. One is that it lets you maybe, adjust the volume sort of on the fly to sort of using your finger to do sort of this thing. That'd be sort of cool. You could also use it to sort of choose the song or podcast you want to listen to, and then maybe even switch between modes. You can switch between transparency mode and noise cancellation and off just by tapping on the AirPods Pro screen case and not having to mess with your phone. That'd be very cool to see as well. But if Apple wanted to, they could even take things another step further and make this even cooler. Like, imagine if Apple was to release this AirPods Pro with the built-in screen that worked totally independent of your phone. It had its own cellular connection built in. You could use the screen to control your AirPods, control Apple Music, and this was like your own independent streaming solution. You could put them in your ear, listen to your podcasts, listen to Apple Music without ever needing a phone or watch or anything. It had its own data connection, it had its own Apple Music subscription, and you could buy it and maybe you got like a couple of months of Apple Music for free. Maybe that is wishful thinking, but sort of looking at that render sort of got the gears turning in the old mind, and would be something really cool to see. We've seen Apple slowly but surely make their products a bit more independent, like the Apple Watch, for example, sort of not needing an iPhone to do everything. Obviously, AirPods do work on Android, though not really well, but if Apple was to do this and sort of give us an independent version of AirPods that sort of was its own self-contained thing, in my opinion, that'd be super cool. Would you like AirPods if they sort of came with an Apple Music subscription and you could sort of, listen and had some data connection? Let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comments. Switching gears from AirPods to iPhone, we've got a couple of interesting iPhone news stories you should probably know about. One is that Apple is still working on their own custom cell modem. Remember, a couple of years ago, they bought Intel's entire cell modem division? That should be coming, though it's still a little delayed, but the first phone that could get that new Apple designed cell modem could be this, the all-new iPhone SE4 that could launch in the next year or so. Now, this phone has been very controversial for many reasons. A lot of rumors say it is going to happen, it isn't going to happen, the design would be like the iPhone 11, or it's going to be like the iPhone 14. We really don't exactly know what Apple's plans for this are just yet, but it seems like Apple is still pursuing a more premium, low-cost iPhone offering. This new iPhone SE could have a very similar design to the iPhone 14. It'd have 2 cameras, it'd have an OLED display, Face ID, finally ditching the home button, and it would be great to see on the market for a couple $100, a far cry from the nearly $1,000 with the iPhone 14 Pro and the iPhone 14 that we've got right now. Of course, it'd have Apple's own custom cell modem built in too, and could bring a lot of great features if it actually happens. Again, rumors are a little wishy-washy on whether Apple's working on this or not, but we did get a couple of new rumors, so thought I'd keep the hope alive that a cheaper iPhone is still in the works. And of course, speaking of conflicting rumors, we've got to talk about the iPhone 15, because rumors on this phone have been like a ping-pong ball going back and forth for weeks, if not months. Apple's gonna do this, they're gonna do that, no one knows. We've now got some new information that sort of reverts a controversial leak that came out a couple of weeks ago that is gonna be good news or bad news, depending on how you feel about the buttons on the side of your iPhone. So a few weeks ago, we had heard that Apple was actually going to be ditching buttons on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max and going with touch-sensitive buttons in their place, that you maybe would have one sort of volume strip, sort of a unified little square here that would do volume up and volume down commands. Apple would be replacing the mute switch, sort of that little toggle on the side, with another button that you could use to mute and unmute your phone. But now, according to Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, whether it was due to technical issues or manufacturing issues, or maybe a combination of both, Apple has decided to not move forward with that and instead is going to revert back to, who would have thought, just regular old physical up and down buttons, though the mute switch is expected to go away. So the latest leaks show the iPhone 15 looking something like this, but the mute toggle is going to turn into a mute button that could be programmable and customizable, sort of like the Apple Watch Ultra's action button. That took way too long to remember. So basically, instead of just switching it on or off, maybe you could press it once to mute and unmute your phone, or long press it to go into do not disturb mode or a focus mode. Maybe you could customize it to do different things. That'd be very cool and would add a little bit more versatility to the Pro and iPhones, because besides the change to the buttons and thinner bezels and the new processor and materials, not a whole lot is actually expected to change with the 15 Pro series this year. Now, we should still be seeing that telephoto lens up to 10x optical zoom on the 15 Pro Max, but that's sort of going to be the big feature of the 15 Pro series. And I've seen a lot of comments from you guys down below on whether you should buy now, should you wait, should you upgrade to the iPhone 15? And I don't have all the answers. Obviously, rumors are always changing, but let me give you my best truthful answer from what we know right now. If you care about having the best camera, then you probably want to go with the 15 or 15 Pro specifically, because those will have some camera upgrades. If you care about thin bezels, then maybe it's worth it there too. But if you've got a modern iPhone, as of now, there's not a big compelling reason to upgrade to a 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro, or 15 Pro Max. There are some smaller, nicer features that will make these good phones, but if you've got a 14, a 13, or a 12, might not be worth jumping ship. Though if you have an iPhone 10 or older, there's going to be one big reason you're going to want to upgrade, and that's if, well, you want the latest and greatest features in iOS 17. That's because what we're hearing right now is that in addition to iOS 17 actually being a bigger upgrade than what was originally planned, we're also hearing that iOS 17 is only going to work on the iPhone XS or newer. So if you have an iPhone 8 or an iPhone 10 or anything older, which I know many of you still do, unfortunately, your phone probably will not get iOS 17 and will not get all the new features that come with it. We're hearing right now we could see some new UI enhancements with Siri, maybe incorporating the dynamic island into our favorite or not so favorite virtual assistant. We could get a redesigned control center, maybe interactive widgets, and other features that Apple has been sort of put on pause for a while that we should be seeing. Whatever these nice, big, highly requested features are, those should be coming into iOS 17, that we don't exactly know just yet what those are specifically. And also, speaking of software, we've got no big updates on iPadOS or macOS, so that's sort of a bummer there. But we are actually hearing that Apple Watch's software, watchOS, should be getting some significant upgrades this year and should be bringing some pretty big features to the Apple Watch on your wrist coming later on the summer, then officially releasing this fall. And as great as the Apple Watch is, I know that it's certainly not perfect for everyone. Pricing can get expensive, it might not have the features you want. Maybe you like to jump between iOS and Android, and maybe you're just not a fan of the design, which certainly isn't for everyone. If you're looking for a good Apple Watch alternative, Garmin makes some fantastic offerings that are packed with features, some great price points, and also some cool designs as well. And if you're looking to go that way, there are actually some great deals to be had and some savings to be had happening right now for a limited time. Of course, we've got the full details on these savings and how long they're going for and all the money you can save in the links right down below in the description. Okay, last up, two more Apple rumors we've got to cover. One is that the Mac has been seeing not a lot of great growth over the last few months. We just got a report that Mac sales were significantly down last quarter, but Apple is hoping to turn that around with the launch of this, a new 15-inch MacBook Air. We could see this launch as early as June at WWDC, where we saw last year's MacBook Air, and this is actually kind of exciting because it fills a critical void in Apple's notebook lineup. If you want a big screen Apple laptop right now, bigger than 14 inches, you only have one choice. That is the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is powerful and cool and all, but also super expensive and probably really overkill for many people who just want a larger screen. This laptop should solve that problem. It's the super fast, efficient MacBook Air, maybe with the M3 chip inside, great new design, great color options, nice webcam, and also a nice new screen size that should be way more affordable than the 16-inch MacBook Pro. So that should be great and hopefully come in the next couple of months. And then of course, it wouldn't be any sort of Apple rumor roundup if we didn't talk about the good old Apple mixed reality headset, because as always, there is so much controversy around this. Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, the one who actually gave us the info on the buttons on the iPhone 15 I just talked about, says that Apple is probably not going to show off the headset at WWDC, or at least he said it was not likely. He was not confident that Apple would show off the headset at WWDC, though Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, who has also a pretty stellar track record, is very confident that Apple will show off the headset in June at their Worldwide Developers Conference. So right now it's sort of two different leakers going head to head. We don't know which one is right, which one is wrong, but the headset continues to be controversial. We heard that some Apple employees who got a preview of it aren't super excited. They aren't sold on it. They think it lacks a killer app. And also pricing, as of right now, is like all over the board. We heard maybe $3,000. Now we heard it could be $4,000. Maybe Apple just markets this as a developer kit. Maybe it's not for the wider, public release. We don't know. But as of what we know right now, it should be packed with tech and it should be really cool, but it's also set to be pretty expensive, might have a limited release, and may or may not make its debut in June. We just don't know right now. So that is sort of a roundup of all the Apple news we know right now. We got good news in there, we got some bad news, features coming, features going. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on all this? Your thoughts on the iPhone 15 button drama? Do you think it's good that Apple sort of went back and reverted their decision? Are you bummed about it? Your thoughts on iOS 17? Is it going to be exciting? What would you want to see? And sort of your thoughts on sort of Apple's first half of the year. It's been pretty slow. Hopefully things heat up pretty quickly, but they also could be a dud if this headset really is just too expensive. You let me know your thoughts down below and we can discuss in the comments. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I am Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.